Oh, moment of truth. So these are a 17 by 8. So that's the neg 50 and that's the 0. So it should sit just inside that with the 315. 17 by 9s that I've seen, the offset's either a -12 and then a -59. So I'm worried that the extra width goes both ways, that it will stick out past that guard. I don't have brush bars, so it will be cop bait. And Cameron over at Roadrunner has even sourced me some wheel nuts. They are going to look nice. We just got to remember to keep this on board. The first job was to get rid of the mud flaps and mud guards. All-terrains? I haven't had all-terrains since 1977 when I was 5 on my very first BMX. Again, because we're not going to be in here for a while, make sure that these nuts are tight. They've actually come loose since the last time I checked them. I wonder how far out the speedo is going to be. We're going to have to try and bring these out to stop the stones hitting the cab. So what I'm going to do with this one, and Toyota Ali trays are like Lego, I'm going to leave the brackets where they are in the tray. I'm going to move the actual plastic out. In my opinion, well worth the effort to get that looking like that, and legal. Alright, the back one's generally easier. There's more room for my big hands. So what we need to do with the back one to bring it out, we need to notch out the plastic where the rope rail is, but also need to reverse this bracket so it's on this side. Best part about Toyota trays, they're like Lego or Meccano. We want to set it up so it's got the same distance as what we got there. Now look, I've never really had fancy rims on any of my Tourers. I mean, Bullet Truck's got those trail gear creeper locks from Roadrunner Off-Road. And when they told me they had these Pro Comps in stock from a cancelled order, track correct and everything, I pounced. Got to be happy with that. But after this big upcoming trip with the AT52s fitted, we might go back to the MT71s on these steel offset rims that we've got. Neg 50 rears, 0 fronts. And keep these nice alloys and the all-terrains for towing the van to spots where we aren't going to go hardcore. I've hated this section from day one. Let's see how flimsy the bar is without it. It's pretty flimsy, isn't it? If it hits, I'll have to modify. 35s are on, and we've been running around the 14 litres per 100. So we'll zero that and we'll see what these bigger shoes are going to give us. First drive on the 35s, my first impression is give me some brakes. A bigger rolling diameter is really affecting the braking system. Not that it was great prior, but you really can feel the wider stance now. Not only have we gone to a much wider tyre in the 12.5, but we've widened that rear track by the 100mm that it's under, and you can really feel the sturdiness of it on road. There's 40 psi in these all-terrain tyres. Beautiful sidewall they have, nice and square. The parabolics there tackling these speed humps with ease. The other thing I can feel straight away, and again, the big 12.5-inch shoe up front, is that it's starting to sort of wander in the steering wheel, finding the grooves in the road. So I feel that the genuine steer damper was okay with the 285s, but it's not really cutting it with this wider tyre. Now Terrain Tamer, they sent out a damper with the kit that I just fitted. We'll get that on and hopefully that fixes that issue. So what I did this morning is I took the factory steer damper out, and I've been driving around for about an hour, and there's absolutely no difference with the factory one in or out. Go figure. Absolutely no difference. It was a bit of a gauge because I wanted to compare the factory one with the Terrain Tamer one, but the factory one with none is the same. Now, many moons ago, we had a bit of an issue with getting a damper off. We ended up cutting both ends, and then my Toyota guy, he got me another bracket. But I've still got that original bracket, the 2024 with the 1GD in it, exact same bracket. So not only are the coils the same between the V8 and the 4-cylinder, so too is the steer damp setup. Just for those of you that were wondering whether or not you can interchange certain suspension components. Another noticeable thing with the factory rear springs in and this toolbox full, I used to have about 10 psi more air in the driver's side airbag to keep this tray level. You can see here with the parabolics, I've got 0 in both bags, and look how level it's sitting. You can see here too, we've probably got about 350, 400 kilos of rubbish to take to the tip from a job. No air in the bags. Toolbox is full. Have a look at that shackle angle. It's still perfect. It's level. The best of both worlds, these parabolics. You're going to get load carrying capacity, plus you're going to get comfort and flex. Now, I don't expect to have to put air in these bags till we've really loaded it up. Now, that's trailer ball weight. Potentially when I put the 3 motorbikes on the back and we hook up the Jayco. Definitely when we've got bullet truck in tow and the spares on board. So I've run these parabolics before on the grey 79. I know how they behave, and I'm so glad to make that comeback to them. Thank you, Terrain Tamer, for taking me back on again. On our way to the track this morning, we're in 100 zone, so we'll get up to where the car says we're doing 100, and we've got Waze hooked up to see how far out this auto is with the 315s on. It's a clear day after all that rain. I'm expecting the track to be quite muddy today. Alright, so the car is saying dead on 100 and Waze says 109. So we're 9% out. So if we work on 10, that means in a 50 zone we're going to be doing 55. So that's not good. In 100 zone, if we sit on 100, we're going to be doing 110. Nice sunny but crisp morning, but a wet track. Next coming fortnight, we've got lots of motorbike racing. So here at our club, we've got our point score next weekend, and they did some practice race start. It was so good to see Amelia on her 85, confident as she was on her TC65 Husky, but she hasn't raced the 85 before. Later on, Nicholas went up and practiced with the 85. He's a handful, that kid. Now, we all know that motorbike riding and MX racing is a dangerous sport, and you must concentrate for long periods. But sometimes accidents do happen. He was very lucky here. You right?
Yep.
Got a zip tie. Eating lollies. You okay though? Big point score next week. And again, Goulburn. You gonna be alright?
Yeah.
Tough. Yamaha tough. I've come prepared today for a muddy one. So not perfect, but so much better. Look at the mud. So the bikes are ready for next weekend's racing. So happy with the end product. Sitting inside the guards at the front and having the back wheels properly covered from all angles. I had a couple of people ask on the socials the weight of the parabolics. Now they come in at 40 kilos per side. The other thing I noticed too when we did do the suspension swap is for some reason I remember back on the grey 79 that there was a collar on the fixed side of the rear springs. But as you can see here on the 2024 model, the front and back bushes are the same. Also too, we've picked up an OBD reader for that upcoming tow of the Jayco down to Goulburn. You all know the hills on the Hume Highway. We're going to try and get the accurate automatic transmission temps on the 35-inch tyres. And it's funny, you know, because I had one of the very first launch OBDs to clear faults back in 2011 when I had my N70 and we chipped the buggery out of it and we had to keep clearing fault codes. That was a really good tourer for us at the time. Shell was pregnant with our first baby. The brown 60 was always needing tools and work done on it. Probably the only independent vehicle I've ever owned, but it served its purpose back then. Now when we first fitted the 35s, we zeroed the fuel consumption figures and they were up around the 14. Now if we look closely here, we're past that, but we've established that the speedo is 10% out. So before we fill up this tank and hook up the Jayco to go down to Goulburn for the next race meet, I'm actually going to do it the old school way and zero the kilometres and work it out after we've used that tank. Because I feel 10% on what we're at now, we're well and truly better litres per 100 than what we were on the 285s. So birthday's coming up soon. Both Amelia and Nicholas are June babies. Nicholas got to choose his next RC car for his upcoming birthday. And it's going to be next level. 4 WS mean.
4 steer.
With portals. But it's not your birthday yet, you're going to have to wait. But you got to see the box. Please join us in next week's episode where we reveal the big trip that we've got planned. Trip out to ARB, a trip out to Anaconda. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, thanks for watching.